Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Communications from Home, right here at Star Nation's organization's main fan page on Facebook. Tonight, we get to talk about something that is, for me, extremely fun. And so I'm hoping you're going to be able to enjoy it with me. And tonight is Tuesday, March 31st, the very last day of March. Can you believe it? And how did March go out for you weather-wise? Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on out there, but weather-wise, I have to say that here, March left like a lamb. It came in like a lamb and it left like a lamb. So I'm not sure what that saying is supposed to be all about. But maybe because of everything else that's going on, it just Mother Earth decided that maybe we should just give them those two-leggeds a little bit of a break. I don't know, but it was actually pretty nice today. So, welcome to all those that are in the live chat with me this evening. Thank you so much for being with me. And those that are going to be watching the show by the recorded version, welcome to you too. And thank you so much for making time in your day to watch the recorded version. We use that all the time too. All the staff here at Star Nations and the other show hosts and contributing writers for the magazine, we utilize the recorded shows as well because we can't always make it to each other's shows, and so we get to watch them too that way. So thank you. Hey, Lisa's in the house. Nice to see you again too. I was just telling Rob that this morning we were saying how the energy was kind of wonky out there. No, it wasn't even wonky. Take that back. It was so different, wasn't it? It was very, very different. And I was saying, there was actually a feeling in the air I was telling Rob, it was nefarious. Nefarious. It was on that edge of you could feel it in the air. So whatever was going on out there in the mass consciousness, right? Certainly was you could feel it. And so I was so happy to be able to provide the grounding meditation and meditation and the centering and protecting meditation this morning because it was very helpful. It was very helpful. Now, I got to show you guys something. I want to share something with you. As you know, I'm Native American, and because of the COVID-19, a whole bunch of stuff got canceled, right, for the spring, a whole bunch of stuff. And along with those cancellations was the powwows. The spring powwows all got canceled. And so what were we supposed to do, Because there's certain ones that we all kind of go to in the spring. And so there's some friends got together and they decided they were going to put together a group on Facebook, someplace where dancers could dance and actually do healing dances as well, jingle dress dances and others. Drummers could drum and vendors could show their wares, that kind of thing. And it took off. It's only been 2 weeks old and they have 110,000 members in their group. I know, right? And it's called Social Distancing Powwow. And I have shared it on my personal page. I want to show you something. I bought one of their t-shirts because I'd like to support them. And so they're using the money being paid by the t-shirts to, pay for things like they're using Be.Live because I suggested it to them. And so here is the t-shirt, right? Social Distancing Powwow 2020. Isn't that pretty? It's a pretty t-shirt. And in one of my favorite colors, purple. So it's kind of fun, right? So I just wanted to show it off. That and share with you something that I really enjoy using. And I hope you guys saw the show. Was that last week that we met with Violet Colby, right? And her organic products. Yeah. That body shea butter that she's got, holy cow, it's my favorite. And I have to say that in the springtime, sometimes, when we're changing, the seasons is when I need to be a little bit more aware and conscious of what I'm using on my skin. And I have to say that it's working. It's working. Yay. Makes me happy. I wanted to share something happy with you guys, right? All right. So welcome, everybody. Rob, let's see who's in the house before we get started. Hey, Lisa's here. Nice to see you again. She was at the morning meditation. Good to have you here, Lisa. Yeah. And Christina's here too. Hello, hello, hello. It's good to have you here, Christina. Deborah's here too. Deborah and I worked yesterday together working on the magazine stuff. Thank you, Deborah, and good to have you here tonight. Thank you. Okay, get a drink of water here. So the studio must be a little slow, yeah. Hey, Susan's here. Hello, Susan. Good to have you here. Hey there, she says. It's good to have you here. And Kimberly, hello, Kimberly. She says it's meditation. It's true. It's very true. And we're doing it from my meditation room, which is a lot of times when I say it, it comes out medicine room. So all of that, right? Sandra's here too. Hello, Sandra. One and the same. Exactly. Well, hello, Lynn. It's good to have you in the house. It's always good to see you here. The gang's all here. Deborah says, my favorite one is a young lady, maybe a teenager, dancing on a pier near the water. Beautiful and hypnotic. There's so many. And the dancers and their regalia. Oh my goodness. I'm going to do a watch party, I think, of one of the videos that they're showing. And we can talk about their regalia, and we can talk about the drumming and the dancing. I think it'd be fun. We'll go to a powwow together, okay? Thanks, Deborah. That's it. I think that's it. Okay, good. All right. So tonight's show is the topic is something that I have been teaching and sharing about for probably a decade. And it is a topic that to me is fun, because whenever I talk about it, whenever I share about it, we tend to turn our attention to it, and automatically our frequency starts to go up, and we start to feel better just even by sharing about it. Okay, and that topic happens to be universal energy. And first of all, it's like, what is that, right? What is universal energy? And I have to say that in one word, it's love. It's love. On the last Tuesday nights of every month, I had been doing a guided meditation for you all called the Unity Breath Meditation. And we had done that for about a year and a half together. And at the beginning of this year, I decided to take components of that particular meditation and to share with you more in depth about those pieces. And tonight is about the universal energy. And when you talk about universal energy, you also have to share about something called the crystalline tube. And what's the crystalline tube? The crystalline tube is also known as the pranic tube. And that is something that some people might recognize it as a hara line if you're studying chakras or yogic things, right? All right, so the crystalline tube is a part of us that runs from our crown chakra, actually just above our crown chakra, about a hand's length above our head, and about a hand's length below our feet, okay? And it is a cylinder, a tube that is crystalline, right? And we all have it. It's nothing that you have to do to go out to buy or to rent or to borrow. None of that. You already had it. You came in with it. And why? Is because our bodies replicate Grandmother Earth's body. And she has one too. In fact, Rob, could we bring up that one picture of the Earth with the tube going through. Yep, that one. I love this picture. I love, love, love this picture because it's a good way to be able to show you Grandmother Earth, right? You can see there's kind of a darker line running through the center. Almost looks like the poles. In fact, it does run right through the poles, the physical poles, right? And that is her pranic tube, her crystalline tube. And so we have universal energy or love flowing down through the top and up through the bottom. And so it literally does a circulation that creates something called a toric field. Right? And so our bodies replicate her. So we too have a crystalline tube running right straight through us. Right? And if you notice, there's kind of, it's a little faded into the background. Looks like there's another circle around her, kind of on my screen, it looks a little greenish blue. But that is also one of her bodies, right? Her auric field, if you will. Okay, so we too have an auric field, right? Yeah. Thank you, Rob. We can take this one down. So our bodies literally replicate her, right? So universal energy is love. It's the creator's love. Some call it the creator's breath. So whenever, and the thing is that runs through our crystalline tube all day long, all night long, continuous. It never stops. It's a continuous flow. And we don't have to do anything to get it started, to increase it, to slow it down. All we're in is in the receiving mode. Where have you heard that before, right? Right. So, but what we do need to do is recognize that it's there, turn our attention to it, because the Creator's love is constantly flowing through us all the time. All the time. When I first started learning about this, my question was, then why don't we resonate? Why don't our frequency isn't already at the frequency of love then? Why do we have to work so hard to bring our vibration up and our frequency up? Right? That was my question. And that was about 10 years ago. Well, probably longer than that now. Because we've been here for almost 14 years. So it's going to be almost 20 years. Almost 20 years. So that was my question. Then why do we have to work so hard at this? The reason is because we have a soul contract, and that we're here to learn and to master, right? Yeah, and we make our decisions. We have free will. And so our free will covers all of our decisions, including what we think, what we eat, what we watch, what we listen to, who we hang out with, right? And so, and all of those decisions affect our frequency, affects our vibration. So if we immerse ourselves into a lower vibration on a continual basis, like energy meets like energy, our energy will go down to meet that lower energy, right? And vice versa. If we're surrounding ourselves with higher vibrations, higher frequencies, our frequency will also go up to meet that frequency, right? Yeah. So that, when I learned that one, it was like, okay. So that's why it's so, one of the many reasons it's so important for us to really be conscious and aware of what kind of energy we allow ourselves to be in. What kind of thoughts do we allow ourselves to think, right? Because technically, we don't have anybody saying you have to do this or you have to do that, technically. We do have the decisions to make on what we believe to be true, which is a whole nother show in itself, right? All right. So, universal energy, it's the Creator's love. Some call it the breath of the Creator. It's the gifts and the love, the blessings that the Creator sends to us every single day, continually, nonstop, nonstop. So let's get caught up with those in the chat before we go on to the next piece. Amy's here. Hey, Amy, good to have you here. Susan's got hearts and the earth and trees. Exactly. And you know what? Trees also have a pranic tube. We'll talk a little bit about that too. Hi, Jocelyn. Good to have you here. I love your profile picture. Annie's here. Hey, Annie. She says, I think it was because we are the healers. So our energy is always going out to help where we can, when we can. And there is a lot of negative energy that can bring our vibration down. Got to recharge. Well, all of that is true, Anne. All of that is true. We're meant to use our gifts. We're meant to, and we're all healers of one kind or another, right? Some people have the use of healing through their hands. Some it's through their smile, or maybe it is the to be able to voice it, right? So in many respects, we're all healers. There's just some people who focus and make the conscious choice to really master that gift and to be able to provide services to a lot of other people consciously, right? And you're right, Anne. There's a lot of energy out there that um, we need to have protection about, right? Yeah. And so if you're a healer, and since we all are, then you should have your protection up all the time, all the time. Yeah. But now that you know about universal energy and how it runs through us constantly, all the time, and it is at the frequency of love, at the frequency of love, that we have that running through us constantly all the time. So when we turn our attention to it and we feel it, that automatically starts to shift our energy. So thank you, Anne, for that. Thank you. So much about the recharging, right? Hey, Kimberly, she said, shared it out with love. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate that. Anne says, yes, boundaries are great. It also feels good to help change or help reshape the path of someone that is heading down the negative path. My heart has just been pounding the past several months. Yeah, when we're in a position to be of service, right? And sometimes, and I have to agree that sometimes we don't even have to say anything. Sometimes we only have to be there. We only have to be there to support them and to love them. And role model, most definitely, role model just the way we are, who we are. We don't have to talk them into anything, right? Yeah. And the hard part thing, I think the hard part is they have their own path to walk, and if they choose a choice that, well, we can see it that it's going to make their lives a little bit more difficult or harder, but it's their life path. It's not ours, right? And I think that there's a fine line with that. Otherwise, we interfere with their soul growth, and can't do that. There's a lot of karma attached to that, right? So thank you, Anne. Thank you for sharing. It's a good one. And Rob says Kabbalah calls it nefesh. Druids call it. How do you pronounce that, Rob? NWYFRE. Do you know? Does anybody know? How do you pronounce that Druid word? I can't. no, I don't know. All right. So, and it's, both are ancient languages. Both are light languages too. Yeah. Um, the universal energy or love that's coming from the creator is meant for everybody. Everyone. Whether they believe in a higher power or not, whether or not they turn their attention to it or not. Nope, couldn't hear you. Oh, so it sounds like he knows how to pronounce it. He's going to try to get the sound working. So, with this universal love that's flowing through us, how do we best tap into it, right? Since it's ours, it's a gift that's coming to us every day. How do we tap into it? First of all, to be grateful, right? To be grateful, to have gratitude for it. And it doesn't take much to turn your attention to it. We're going to do that a little bit tonight, to sense it, feel it, see it. Because some people will see it as a color. Other people will hear it as a tone. Okay. Other people will sense it. It has a certain feeling to it for them. Okay. And some people have told me that when we do the exercise we're going to be doing tonight, and they realize that's what that is. I've been feeling that since I was a kid, and I didn't know what it was. Yeah. Because we all have it. We all have it. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to take a drink of water. Yum.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Nefesh and Nuefre.
Nuefre?
Nuefre.
Nuefre. Wow.
Anything with that many consecutive consonants has to be Welsh.
It has to be. But thank you for that. Those ancient languages, they're light languages. So that makes sense to me. Thank you for that, Rob. And so here we have love flowing through us. Now, I have another picture that I'd like to share with you. The one that shows the person standing and has the light running through them. This is one that I used for nope, other one. We're going to talk about this one later. The other one. That one. This is one of my favorite pictures because you can see the chakras getting lit up, right? All right. So I think that this is a really good depiction of universal energy as it comes down through the top of the crown. Now, for it to be a correct depiction, we'd be also showing universal energy coming up through the bottom part of the crystalline tube. Right? Yeah, so we have this light. I like to call it a golden light because it's the love and blessings from the creator, right? So it's coming down through the crown chakra, and as it goes through each of the chakras, um, our energy centers take in the light language, takes in the energy field of the universal energy that's flowing through, the frequency of that love, and literally lights up your chakras. It will also heal or clear your chakras as well. And all you're really doing is bringing it to you, recognizing it. And because it has a higher vibration, it will help heal and clear, unblock those chakras. Yeah, and it runs right straight through you, right? And it also will come up through the bottom, through the crystalline, through the bottom. And so you literally have two streams coming through you. You know, they're bypassing each other through your tube. And so you have that. Yeah, it is cool, isn't it, Rosalind? And you know, what I'd like you to do is to be open to the possibilities of having the frequency of love running through you all the time, right through your chakras, right through your energy centers. Right? Okay, Rob, thank you. Yeah, it's a good one. I have one more picture of the Earth, and it shows how the energy. Yeah, this one. I like this one because I think it really helps show um, how the energy from the Creator, that love coming through the Earth, and how it could look. Right? If we use our imaginations, what would it look like? And when I saw this picture, I thought, oh my gosh, that could be it. That could be it. And whenever I see this picture, it always brings a smile to my face because Grandmother Earth, it also receives her love. As a sentient being, she also receives love and blessings from the Creator. Yeah. And she deserves every ounce of that, doesn't she? You know, and there's an old saying. Thank you, Rob. There's an old saying that I love. One of my teachers, way back when, she used to say, "And every space between the spaces." In other words, everything has love flowing through it because nothing is solid. When we have the Creator's universal energy, the love running through, it is going between the spaces as well. Yeah. So everything gets to have that frequency. Everything, even those, even those that hold a denser, lower energy, they too have the universal energy running through them. So anytime they wanted to turn their attention to the frequency of love, to the frequency of the Creator, they too would have it. Yeah. I know that one's a little harder to wrap your mind around. It was for me. It's like, really? You really, even those serial killers, right? Even those people who consciously set out to hurt someone else, but they too have universal energy flowing through them. It just depends on if they're going to turn their attention to it or not, right? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to break it down just a little bit further, okay? So when that universal energy, when the love is flowing through you, it is literally coming down through the top and up through the bottom, right? And so one's coming down and one's going up. And so it's creating this circle around you on the outside. So it's running this way and comes back around, comes up through and down, right? And when it does that, it creates something called a toric field. And what's a toric field? A toric field, really kind of simply, it's if you were looking down at it from the top, right? You'd be looking at a donut. And every time I explain this one, he's like, "Can we choose the donut?" I said, "As long as it's chocolate, it's a chocolate donut. I'm so there." All right. So if you want to know what a toric field looks like, if you're looking down at it from the top, it will look like a donut. It'll have a hole in the center, and it'll have a ring around the person or the being that's in the center, right? Okay. So we all have this toric field around us, and so does Grandmother Earth. And it's created by the flow of the universal energy through your crystalline tube. Yep. And Rob, if we could bring up that other picture, the one, yep, that one. All right. So if you're looking at a toric field from the front, you would have this larger donut around you. You can kind of see, the funnel at the top and the funnel at the bottom, right? Where that universal energy is coming through. And as it's flowing and creating this circle around, through and around, right? It does this toric field. And so the larger field, the larger donut, if you will, is created by the flow of universal energy. And here's the cool part. Our hearts, both our physical heart and our transcendental heart, if you will, our spirit heart, it also has an energy field much like the creator's. It comes from our heart. It's at the frequency of love, and it flows through us, creating another toric field, a smaller toric field, and that's the smaller one closer to his body. Right? And this is all love. It's all love. So you could say, without taking a class, without buying anything, without borrowing anything, we all have two fields of energetic love flowing through us and around us. Okay? Thank you, Rob. Two fields of love flowing through us and around us. So, as two-leggeds, as humans, what makes the big difference for us is our free will, our choices. That's why we're always talking about, living your life consciously, right? Being consciously aware, being present, being in the moment. Right? That's one of the reasons why we talk about it so much. Is because when we're making our conscious choices, when we turn our attention to that energy field that we have running through us, our frequency automatically starts to rise. If you were having a really bad day and you were having negative thoughts, and you're having verbal altercations with people or something like that, or physical altercations with someone, which I highly doubt with this group, but it's a possibility, right? You still have love flowing through you no matter what. It's the choices that we make that make it different, right? Yeah. The creator doesn't stop sending the love and the blessings, even though we may be making poor choices, even though we chose one path instead of the other. We're still loved, unconditionally loved. It still flows through us. Our heart still creates that toric field out of love because it's coming out of our heart chakra, our spiritual heart. How do you feel about that? Turning to our emotions. How do you feel about that? Can your logical mind accept that as a possibility? Yeah. I tell you what, the day that I had the aha moment when the the light bulb went on, kind of thing. It was a huge day for me. That was back in see, I got my healing dress in 2000. In 2000. It was given to me by Spirit in 2000. But I didn't actually have the dress in the physical world until 2005. My aha moment, my big aha moment came in 2004 when I was connecting all these dots and realizing, holy smokes. And I'd been studying the ascension stuff for quite some time, probably since 1998. Yeah. But it was the connecting of the dots of the conscious awareness and what we choose. What we choose. Yeah. That was mine. Yeah. All right. Trap, what did you have here? The notorious serial killer Captain Crunch. Yeah, exactly. All that sugar. Yeah, all that sugar. All right. So we're going to do just a little bit of an exercise, okay? So that you can sense, feel, see for yourself what it may feel like, okay? What I want to give to you just as a little bit more information is about the crystalline tube, because we all have it, the pranic tube. And there was a time back in the day when we would say, the teachers would say, that the size of the crystalline tube is about the size of when you have your thumb and middle finger together, right? And in some people, that is the circumference of your wrist, okay? If you put your fingers like this. It's kind of hard to show this on the camera like that, right? It was this big. Notice I said was. Back in 2012, I'd say 2012 to maybe to 2014 or 15, there was a whole big shift happening for people, especially those people who are awake and walking their path awake. Our crystalline tube increased in size. And for some people, it's about the width of your neck. So, look at this. All right. So the width of my neck is literally the width of my head. So my crystalline tube is this wide, all the way down. So it covers your physical heart as well. In the old days, it would go down through the center and it was only this big, right? So it just barely touched your physical heart. It touched the field of your chakra, definitely, but not your physical heart. And back in 2012 to 2015, yeah, the size changed. It increased. Yeah. So I was in 2012. I had gone down to Mexico to take a class with one of my teachers, Drenvelo Melchizedek, and at that time I was one of the teachers helping to teach the teachers. Okay, and when I went down there, it was it was a whole big kind of experience. But that's where I realized that the size of the tubes were changing. Because just before that trip, I was making a drum for someone. And I do a whole ceremony, right, with the drum making. And I was through the whole ceremony. I was cleaning up, putting things away, and it felt like I had pulled a muscle in my chest. It's like, ow. It's like, what was that? And it was a buffalo drum. So, I thought, well, maybe because it's a heavier hide, a thicker hide. And so sometimes you do have to use a little bit more oomph to stretch it. And so I thought, well, maybe I did something while I was stretching the hide. And I learned later when I was down in Mexico that was all, in fact, Spirit was watching that. And that's when they shared with me about the size change. And that happened because of that ceremony that I was in, that I created for that drum. It was all perfect timing, divine timing, right? So, those who have been doing their healing work for themselves and awake consciously on their path, and you already have the love flowing through you. There's nothing more that you have to do with that. You already have a pranic tube, and that the size of your tube changed. Why did it increase? Okay, that's a good question, Jocelyn. Why did it increase? It increased because we were able to handle more energy than two-leggeds had in the past. In the recent past, I should say. And I can't even tell you how many generations that covered, because it's probably going all the way back to, okay, they're going all the way back to just before the fall of Atlantis. Okay. Yeah. So our soul remembers how to do that, and how to be with that amount of energy, right? And that frequency of energy. And the reason why it was increased is because we were doing a lot of work, soul work. Yeah. And for some, it made it easier. And for others, it did make it a little bit more challenging, because we had to really kind of sift through our belief systems, right? Because, like energy is still meeting like energy, right? When you have that much of a higher frequency running through you, it's going to change your life. It's going to call in, a lot of changes in your lifestyle and your belief systems. And yeah, it's going to change you. Anne is saying, thank you, teacher. I thought I pulled a muscle twerking a lug nut. I know, right? Because mine was exactly the same way. I thought I did something physical. I felt like a pulled muscle. Yeah. Until, I went down to Mexico, and we're doing all this work. And we were in a meditation, and my ears are ringing. And my spiritual team was explaining this to me. In fact, it was plasma beings that we were working with, and they were explaining the crystalline portion and the size portion to me. Yeah. So that was a nice validation and confirmation, right, of all that. But I wanted to explain that to you guys because just in the event that somebody says, "Oh my God, look how big that is," or why does it feel such a large field, right? That's why. Okay. Okay. Anne is saying, yes, I had to call in everyone, all cosmic ancestors too, busy on all levels right now. Yes, there's a whole bunch of us that are. A whole bunch. We're going to talk a little bit about that too toward the end, okay? All right, let's do this exercise, because I'd like to offer you the opportunity to sense, feel, see your pranic tube and the flow of universal energy. Okay. So it's not quite a meditation, but we do need to kind of get into meditation mode. So you want to have your feet flat on the floor, right? Your legs and arms uncrossed. Okay. Yeah. And you can stand to do this too if you want to. Just make sure that you have something if you need to for balance. All right. All right. So taking a nice deep breath in. And blowing it out. Good. All right. Mm. And just turning your attention to grandfather sky, turning your attention to a night sky. To grandfather sky, Gamisho Masei Nan. That's the sun, the moon, the stars, the thunder and the lightning, all the planets, the creator, God, goddess, the great mystery, the prime creator. Okay, just turning our attention to grandfather sky. And now, just taking a nice, easy, deep breath in. And as you exhale, calling to you your spiritual team, your whole team. Invite every team member to be with you. Okay? And asking them to please help you to sense, feel, see your pranic tube, and also to sense, feel, see the universal energy, the Creator's love, the breath of the Creator, as it flows down your crystalline tube, down through the top, down through your crown chakra, and up through the bottom, up through the bottom, all the way up to your root chakra. Because your crystalline tube runs from the top of your head about a hand's width above, all the way down through you, all the way straight down, and then about a hand's length below your feet. And we're just turning our attention to that universal energy, the energy of love. And it's okay if you think, I'm not feeling anything. That's all right. Just imagine if I could feel it, if I could feel the universal energy, what would it feel like? And it's okay to use your imagination. Just turning your attention to it, noticing it. And noticing what it feels like when it passes through your heart chakra and your high heart. The Creator's love and blessings. Good. Good. And now taking a nice, easy, deep breath in, and as you exhale, sensing, feeling, seeing the larger toric field that's created by the universal energy, the love of the Creator that's around you. It's approximately 3 feet from center. Some may have a larger field. Not much larger, but a little bit larger than that. And that field of love is actually superimposed over your auric field, over your aura. We have love flowing through us and around us. Good. Taking a nice, easy, deep breath in. And as you exhale, just coming back to the present moment. If you had your eyes closed, open your eyes. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is sensing, feeling, seeing the Creator's love as it flows through you, also known as universal energy. And that's how you tap into it every single day. Every day. And we do that every morning, don't we, guys? For the grounding, centering, and protection meditation. How did it feel? Lisa says, the shifts are so rapid. One day I'm doing my spirit work, and the next they are like, you need to stay rest today. Yes. And sometimes that can happen all in one day, right? Anne says, I have to find a link for you on Tesla and his energy work. I thought of you immediately when I watched the documentary. Oh, thank you. I see you did share it. I'll watch it after the show. Yeah, Tesla did a lot of work. I had a show a long time ago, like maybe 4 or 5 years, on the rodent coils. I had a guest on that. Yeah, they were really, that was some deep stuff we were talking about. Rodent coils. Yeah. So what was that next one? Cindy. Hello, Cindy. She says, is this the same as what we're calling 5D? It is the energy of 5D. Yes. Because 5D is all about the unified field and about the energy of love. And so whenever we can tap into the Creator's energy, that's pure love. It's pure love. Yeah, Deborah's saying, this was the most powerful spiritual short meditation I've ever experienced. Well, thank you for that. And I'm so glad that you were able to sense, feel it. Because for me, that was my aha moment, Deborah, all those years ago when I did that. My team was actually showing it to me. And so in all my classes with students, we do this very simple exercise. But it really connected the dots for me, gave me that aha moment. Yeah. All right. And Jocelyn's saying, amazing, like I was surrounded with light swirling through me. Yeah. Yeah. And all you have to do is turn your attention to it because it's always there. And saying, yes, that was one of them. The rodent coil. Yeah. That's some heavy stuff. Deep, deep stuff. Cindy says, I am having something that is blocking me from meditation. Okay. Do you have an idea of what that could be? To be interesting. Okay. Oh my gosh, I just saw Don Grissom in the audience. Don, it's good to have you here, guy. Oh, it's so good to see you in the chat. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Good to have you here. It's kind of like old home week, huh, Don? Talking about the unified field, or that is a unified field, but universal energy. It's good to have you here. Okay. Trust. Deb is, or I'm sorry. Let's see. I thought I saw Cindy. Cindy said trust. That's a good one. That's a lot of people have, especially right now. Right now. one of the things that you might want to consider, Cindy, is um, is as an empath, right? Is okay. We're going to take a few minutes. We might actually go over in time just a little bit, okay? Because I need to say this about empaths. As empaths, it's a gift that we received when we came into this lifetime. And what is that, right? It is the gift of being able to sense, feel, see the emotions, and sometimes even the thoughts of other people, other beings. Sometimes to the extent that it's hard to determine what's ours and what's someone else's, especially when you first realize that it's a gift, not a curse, right? And as empaths, especially in the energy field that we find ourselves in today, out there, right? There's a high level of fear, panic, um, mistrust. There's a lot of those kind of emotions out there, and really, when things really boil down to the nitty gritty, there's only two emotions: fear and love. That's it. Now they do present themselves, right, and generalize mischief. Yes, and they do present themselves as symptoms, right, of other things like mistrust. But the baseline, the very bottom, at the very root, is fear or love. And as two-leggeds, as human beings with free will, that's our choice, is to choose fear or to choose love. Okay. Now, as empaths, we get to feel that other person's emotions. So, Cindy, I wouldn't be very much surprised if that's what you're feeling, is someone else's mistrust. Okay, because you were doing well with your meditations, right? Yeah. So, how do you release it? How do you discharge it? Because as an empath, part of that gift is to help transmute and transform lower vibrations like those emotions, and transmute them to love and to release them. Working with our spiritual team to do that, working with Grandmother Earth to do that, right? So my suggestion, Cindy, um, is you need to find a way to release it, to discharge it. And some people, I don't know if it'll work for you, but for some people, taking a salt bath helps. Okay. Some people, going for a nice long walk out in nature helps. Asking Grandmother Earth to help you to release this and to get it transmuted to love upon release. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So that would be my suggestion, because it doesn't feel like yours. It feels like you're helping to transmute it, transform it. And when, as an empath, when we take it on, we allow it to take up residence. It's not a healthy thing. It's not. And so you have to learn how to do the releasing of it, the transmutation of it. Right? Okay. Cindy says, I'm crying. You must have touched something. Ah. Be good to yourself. No, I haven't been able to meditate since I got a bad reading from Sylvia Brown many years ago. Okay. That's all right. That's something that you have to let go and release. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll work on that. We'll work on that. Deborah's saying, oh, yeah, crying night. And as an empath, that is one of the ways to release, is to cry, is to cry. Sometimes we have to have that ugly cry, and that's okay. It's all right. you're doing your work, you're doing your soul work when you're an empath, to be able to transmute those lower vibrational emotions. And as an empath, we're finding ourselves very busy right now. Whether you're out there physically or not, we're finding ourselves very busy. In fact, looking at the time, in fact, I made a decision not too many days ago. I just have to get past working on the magazine. We're working on the April issue. I would like to develop a class, have a class for everybody. You don't have to be an empath to take it, but it's primarily for empaths, of whether you're a parent and you're an empath and you've got your kids home now, and now you're up to here in their emotions, right? Or you're using your empathic gift to help others, to be in service, and maybe you're just realizing that gift. Yeah, we're going to have a class, an online class, and I'm looking at April 26th. It's a Sunday, online through Zoom, and we're going to get the promotions up like within the next week or so. And it's not going to be very much. It's going to be like $25. So everybody has a way to be able to afford it. We're going to be able to maybe, for those who are able to, are still working and because this is something that would usually cost like, over $100, right? This kind of class. So what I'm hoping is that if we offer it at that price, is that those that are still working, maybe they can be of service to somebody who isn't working, and they can help, maybe sponsor another person or two, and that sort of thing, so that we're all helping each other, right? And so we're going to get that pulled together, and we'll have it on April 26th at the Sunday afternoon. It's probably going to be around 3 p.m. Eastern time, and take the place of my afternoon show. Okay? Yeah. All right. Oh, you're very welcome. Feeling everything. I know. Yeah, we need to help the empaths. And even if you're not an empath yourself, but you're a spouse of an empath, or you're a relative of an empath, and you take the class, at least you'll help understand them and how you can support them as they do their work, right? Yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness, Cindy said, wow. Yeah, wow. Wow. And Lynn says, thank you. I'm a sponge for this info tonight. Oh, I know the feeling of that. Deborah saying, me too. Me too. All right. You're very welcome, Annie. You're very welcome. Hey, Anne, is your I don't know. Is your campground open? I don't know. I don't know if there's many campgrounds that are open. You're welcome, Deborah. You're welcome. Okay. And Amy is saying, I love this, but the class and sponsoring others. Yeah. We got to help each other, right? Because I know that there's some people that are going to be not working for like 3 or 4 weeks now, right? And so, and this is, I think that this particular class is going to be very helpful on the day-to-day stuff. Okay, on day-to-day stuff. And but please also remember that we also have another class coming up that's Polly Joe is teaching. You are? Okay, good to know. So those of us in Wisconsin, Anne has a campground near it's Bowler, right? Bowler, Wisconsin. I think it's Bowler. It's in the northeastern part of the state. Her campground is open. Okay, so that social distancing thing. You can still be in your RV and still be socially distant, or in your tent, right? Okay. Now, and please remember that Polly Joe has a class coming up, an online class through Star Nations Academy. It's the third class of launching into the deep waters of manifesting. And what Polly Joe is sharing about is multidimensional manifesting, and how our inner child really holds the magic wand to that. And so she's going to be teaching about that. Now, these 4 classes are kind of the cornerstone of the foundation of the more advanced class that's coming up, right? So here's the thing. We had a meeting over the weekend, the other 3 teachers and I. Good one, Anne, putting your link in there. Thank you. We have an in-person class that was supposed to be coming up at the end of May. Yeah, I think even I would have a hard time getting to that one with airline travel, right? We got to be a little pragmatic. We're going to be pushing that class out to September. I'm sorry, no, the first weekend of October 3rd and 4th, I think that is. And it's going to be online. All right. And we're going to have a new pricing out for it because it's online. It's not going to be as expensive, number one. And number two, we may actually offer the same thing about the sponsoring ship thing for that particular class. It's going to be a weekend, 16 hours you guys are going to have us for. I know. It's a long weekend. So it's kind of like a workshop retreat from your own home, and we're going to be meeting through Zoom for 16 hours that weekend. Thanks. So that's coming up. So we're doing a little bit of shifting and changing. Okay. All right. So Rob, I know we're kind of over, but we're going to go through everybody's comments. So thank you, Annie. That is Anne's campground information here in Wisconsin. So if you'd like to visit her campground, thank you for that, Annie. She says the governor has deemed campgrounds as essential. That is where we need people to heal, getting connected with their nature. Exactly. Yeah. And Rob says, I'm buying a yurt and moving to the woods. Well, he is a druid. A modern day druid guy. All right. Okay. I think we're caught up. Yep.
We are caught up.
So, thank you, Rob. And thank you for producing, Rob. I appreciate it. We got one more slide I want to show. Just one more. And I think you guys are going to like it. Yes, this is the one. The medicine wheel. And you guys know that I teach about medicine wheel stuff too. But the reason why I wanted to show this particular picture, because I think it shows how we are so much more alike than we are different in all of the beliefs, right? Notice in the very center of the wheel is a dot, right? That's our crystalline tube. That's where the creator resides on the medicine wheel. That's where we go, is in the center for respite. When we walk from the east to the west, from the mind to the heart, right? Yeah. So thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. That was the best quick one I could draw on. the best quick photo I could draw on. So yeah. All right. So thank you, everybody, for being with me this evening for Communications from Home and for our conversation about universal energy, the Creator's love, the Creator's breath, and how it is with us all the time. All we have to do is turn our attention to it. We have love flowing through us and around us all the time. There is no break. There is no slowdown. It's always there. Okay. All right. And thank you for being with me. Next week, I forget what my shows are next week. And of course, I don't have it here in front of me. Hang on. Let me flip that over. Nope, that's not it. Well, I am having a show next week. I just don't remember what it's on. We'll find out. So you can join me next week for Communications from Home at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern is my afternoon show, and that is the Spiritual Roundtable. and the group card draw information. That's at 3 p.m. And at 7 p.m. Eastern Time is Soul Connections with Polly Jo LeBay. That's all about healing, and she's going to be doing card readings. And so on Thursday is Chakra Sessions at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay. All right. Bama Mina. That's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.